Summary Overview. Chapter 3, The 10 Merits. Section 1, Paragraphs 1 to 31. The Buddha explains to Bodhisattva Mahasattva great dignified adornment the 10 inconceivable powers of merits. First merit, it has the power to transform a person. Second merit, it enables a person who has heard this sutra to understand and master the immeasurable meanings of other sutras. Third merit, it enables one who is not yet spiritually ready to accomplish the noble and difficult task of salvation. Fourth merit, it enables a novice practitioner to gain respect from all living beings as well as to receive protection from all Buddhas. Fifth merit, it enables a novice practitioner to demonstrate the path of enlightenment to living beings by awakening in them joyous faith of the Dharma. Sixth merit, it grants a novice practitioner the power to lead all living beings to enlightenment. Seventh merit, it bestows various rewards upon those who embrace the sutra. Eighth merit, it brings about various benefits such as the assurance of non-rebirth and the attainment of enlightenment. Ninth merit, it brings about benefits such as the elimination of heavy impediments and the ability to lead others to enlightenment. Tenth merit, it enables the practitioner to expound the sutra widely and quickly attain supreme, perfect enlightenment. At that time, Bodhisattva great dignified adornment spoke to the Buddha once more, O Bhagavath. The sublimely magnificent and profoundly unsurpassed immeasurable meanings of the Great Vehicle Sutra is indeed profound, indeed profound. Why? Among the Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas and the four groups, heavenly gods, dragons, spirits, kings, ministers, citizens, and other living beings in the assembly who have heard this profoundly unsurpassed immeasurable meanings of the Great Vehicle Sutra will acquire the methods of dharani, the three teachings, for results, and the desire to attain enlightenment. We know that this sutra, true and valid in principle and word, unrivaled in esteem and honor, is guarded and protected by all Buddhas of the three existences. No devil minions are able to infiltrate it, nor can it be destroyed by any distorted views of birth and death. Why? Because a person will be able to embrace all teachings by hearing this teaching just once. If living beings have the opportunity to hear this sutra, they will gain immense benefits. Why? Because if they are able to practice it, they will definitely attain supreme perfect enlightenment quickly. As for those living beings who do not have the opportunity to hear this sutra, one should know that they will miss immense benefits because they will eventually be unable to attain supreme perfect enlightenment after the passing of immeasurably boundless and inconceivable asamkhya kalpas. Why? Because if they do not know the superhighway to enlightenment, they will travel along the perilous path fraught with numerous trials and tribulations. O Bhagavath! This sutra is inconceivable. Out of your compassion for the great assembly, we entreat the Bhagavath to broadly expound the profound and extraordinary matters as taught in the sutra. O Bhagavath! From where does this sutra come from? To where does it lead? Where does it abide? How does it enable living beings to quickly attain supreme perfect enlightenment through its immeasurable and inconceivable merits? At that moment, the Bhagavath replied to Bodhisattva Mahasattva great dignified adornment, excellent, excellent. O virtuous man! Indeed, indeed, it is as you have said so. O virtuous man! This sutra that I expound is indeed profound and truly profound. Why? Because it is able to lead all living beings to quickly attain supreme perfect enlightenment. By hearing it just once, a person will be able to embrace all teachings. This sutra is able to lead people along the superhighway free of trials and tribulations because of its ability to offer immense benefits and enrichment. O virtuous man! You ask from where does this sutra come, to where does it lead, and upon where does it abide? Listen attentively and carefully. O virtuous man! This sutra originates from the palaces of the Buddhas, goes toward all living beings who have awakened an aspiration for enlightenment, and abides in the abodes of bodhisattvas. O virtuous man! This is the coming, going, and abiding of the sutra. Hence, this sutra has immeasurably inconceivable power of merits to enable all living beings in attaining supreme perfect enlightenment quickly. O virtuous man! Do you wish to hear about the 10 inconceivable powers of merit? Bodhisattva Great Dignified Adornment replied, Yes, we are eager to hear. The Buddha continued to speak, O virtuous man. First, this sutra is able to cause in those who are yet to awaken an aspiration of enlightenment to conceive such a desire. It enables those who are lacking in loving kindness and benevolence to awaken their minds to loving kindness. It enables those who delight in killing to awaken hearts of great compassion. It enables those who are prone to envy and jealousy to nurture minds of spontaneous joy of acceptance. It enables those who are possessive to cultivate minds of releasing attachment. It enables those who are stingy and greedy to awaken minds of generosity. It enables those who are arrogant and egoistic to embrace humility and the discipline of upholding precepts. It enables those who easily give in to anger to foster minds of forbearance and tolerance. It enables those who are indolent to foster minds of diligence. It enables those who are absent-minded to cultivate minds of focused meditation. It enables those who are foolish and ignorant to nurture minds of wisdom. It enables those who lack the desire for salvation to activate the desire for salvation. It enables those who commit the 10 evils to develop minds for 10 benevolent acts. It enables those who are excessively ambitious to be less ambitious. It enables those who are prone to backsliding to refrain from backsliding. It enables those who have shortcomings to strive for personal improvement. It enables those who are troubled with vexation to eliminate such worries. O virtuous man! This is known as the sutra's first inconceivable power of merit. O virtuous man! The sutra's second inconceivable power of merit is as such: if living beings are able to hear this sutra, even if it is just one teaching, one stanza, or just one line, they will be able to understand and master hundreds of thousands of millions of meanings, so much so that they are unable to finish expounding the teachings they embrace for immeasurable kalpas. Why? This is due to the immeasurable meanings of the Dharma. O virtuous man! The sutra is likened to a single seed from which hundreds of thousands of millions of other seeds are grown. These hundreds of thousands of millions of other seeds, in turn, generate hundreds of thousands of millions of other seeds. By compounding in such a manner, the seeds will grow and increase until they become immeasurable. By the same token, a single dharma of this sutra will give rise to hundreds of thousands of meanings from which hundreds of thousands of millions of meanings are generated. By compounding in such a manner, the meanings will increase to an immeasurably boundless scale. Hence, the sutra is called Immeasurable Meanings. O virtuous man! This is known as the sutra's second inconceivable power of merit. O virtuous man! The sutra's third inconceivable power of merit is as such: if living beings are able to hear this sutra, even if it is just one teaching, one stanza, or just one line, they will understand and master hundreds of thousands of millions of billions of meanings. Despite having worries, they will perceive as if there are no worries. Fearless in the face of birth and death, they will be able to foster minds of empathetic compassion toward living beings, as well as develop the minds of tenacious courage toward all realities of life. Those who embrace the sutra are able to shoulder the substantial weight of the treasure of unsurpassed enlightenment, just like a burly young man who is able to carry various heavy items. Even though they themselves are incapable of self-salvation, they are already able to liberate living beings to escape the paths of birth and death. They are just like a ship captain who, despite his frail and seriously ailing body that incapacitates his ability to properly control his 4 limbs, is able to help others cross the ocean to the opposite shore through an indestructible ship anchored at his own shore. The same applies to those who embrace this sutra. In spite of their delicate bodies being heavily shackled by 108 illnesses amid the 5 realms of existence, in spite of their present dwelling on the shore of ignorance, aging, and death, they are able to rescue living beings by teaching them ways to overcome birth and death through the solidly enduring great vehicle, namely the Immeasurable Meanings Sutra. O virtuous man! This is known as the sutra's third inconceivable power of merit. O virtuous man! The sutra's fourth inconceivable power of merit is as such: if living beings are able to hear this sutra, even if it is just one teaching, one stanza, or just one line, they will obtain minds of tenacious courage. They are capable of saving others even if they are incapable of saving themselves. With bodhisattvas as their companions, the Buddha's Tathagatas will always be there to expound the Dharma for them. Having heard the teaching, they are able to embrace, obey, and propagate the teaching widely in response to what is appropriate for each individual. O virtuous man! Suppose a king and a queen have a newborn prince. When the prince is of the age of 1 day, 2 days, or 7 days, 1 month, 2 months, or 7 months, 1 year, 2 years, or 7 years, he has already earned respect from the ministers and citizens despite his immaturity to govern the affairs of the country. Princes of other great kings are his friends. The king and queen adore him, showing him great affection through constant interaction. Why? O virtuous man! Those who embrace this sutra are as such. The Buddhas are the kings and the sutras are the queens, both of whom combine together to give birth to this bodhisattva child. If this bodhisattva is able to hear this sutra, even if it is just one line, one stanza, or just one teaching, or tens, hundreds, thousands, millions, or billions of immeasurable countless Ganges as sands of teachings, he is already being revered by the 4 groups and 8 kinds of guardians despite his immature ability to fully understand the ultimate truth, to shake the lands of 3,000 major thousandfold worlds, or to turn the great Dharma wheel with a deafening Brahma voice. Accompanied by his companions of great bodhisattvas, he is able to impeccably expound the Dharma by diving deep into the Buddha's secret treasury of the Dharma. He is always being protected, guarded, and adored by the Buddhas because he is just a novice. O virtuous man! This is known as the sutra's 4th inconceivable power of merit. O virtuous man! The 5th inconceivable power of merit is as such, whether the Buddha is present in the world or after his parinirvana, if virtuous men and women were to embrace, read, recite, and copy the profoundly unsurpassed immeasurable meanings of the Great Vehicle Sutra, then they will be able to demonstrate a great path of enlightenment to others in spite of their existing troubles arising from their daily grind of life with the common people. Furthermore, they will be able to convert 1 single day into 100 kalpas and compress 100 kalpas into 1 single day, causing other living beings to joyously have faith in the Dharma. O virtuous man! These virtuous men and women are like the baby dragons who are already capable of gathering clouds and causing rain to fall after 7 days of birth. O virtuous man! This is known as the sutra's 5th inconceivable power of merit. O virtuous man! The sutra's 6th inconceivable power of merit is as such, whether the Buddha is present in the world or after his parinirvana, if virtuous men and women were to embrace, read, and recite this sutra, then they will be able to expound the teaching and remove the suffering of living beings by cutting off all the pains of birth and death even though they themselves are beset with many troubles. Living beings will start practicing after hearing the Dharma. They will also receive the teachings, the fruits, and the ways of enlightenment as if they have been taught by the Buddha Tathagata. Suppose there is a prince, in spite of his young age, who is entrusted with the management of the country's affairs when the king is away for business travel or when the king has fallen ill. The prince leads the ministry and government officers by following the orders of the great king, govern affairs in accordance with the Dharma and implement sound policies. Order and peace prevail in the country and the people live productively in harmony as if the king himself is reigning over the country. Virtuous men and women who embrace the sutra are the same. Whether the Buddha is present in the world or after the parinirvana of the Buddha, although virtuous men have yet to attain the stage of complete stillness, so long as they follow the teaching of the Buddha in expounding the Dharma, they will cause living beings who have heard the teaching to practice wholeheartedly, to eradicate their worries, and to receive the teachings, the fruits, and eventually the ways of enlightenment. O virtuous men! This is known as the sutra's 6th inconceivable power of merit. O virtuous men! The sutra's 7th inconceivable power of merit is as such, whether the Buddha is present in the world or after the parinirvana of the Buddha, if virtuous men and women who hear the sutra were to believe and uphold it with joy, cherishing it as something preciously rare, embracing, reading, reciting, copying, explaining, and practicing it in accord with the Dharma, awakening the mind of enlightenment, and cultivating benevolent roots and developing great compassion to save all living beings from suffering, then the 6 paramithas will naturally appear before them even though they have yet to practice the 6 paramithas. They will instantly achieve the assurance of non-rebirth in their present bodies, cut off the affliction of birth and death in a moment, and ascend immediately to the 7th stage to join the ranks of great bodhisattvas. Suppose there is a brawny hero who destroys enemies for his king. Elated when the enemies have been annihilated, the king bestows half his kingdom to the hero as a reward. Men and women who embrace the sutra are the same. The most courageous of the practitioners will naturally receive the treasure of the 6 paramithas without having to actively seek it. With the enemies of birth and death being destroyed on their own accord, they will receive rewards such as the assurance of non-rebirth and half the Buddhaland, as well as national treasures of peace and bliss. O virtuous men! This is known as the Sutra's 7th inconceivable power of merit. O virtuous men! The 8th inconceivable power of merit is as such, whether the Buddha is present in the world or after the parinirvana of the Buddha, if virtuous men and women were to obtain this sutra, cherishing it with reverence and faith as if gazing at the body of a Buddha, adoring and rejoicing in the sutra, embracing, reading, reciting, copying, and performing obeisance in accordance with the practice, and strictly observing the precepts, practicing perseverance, awakening profound compassion, as well as broadly expounding the unsurpassed immeasurable meanings of the Great Vehicle Sutra, then they are capable of applying a plethora of expedient methods to guide those who do not believe in the concept of sin and blessing to believe in the concept. Through the authority and power of the sutra, these people will be able to obtain the authority, virtue, the fruits, and the ways of enlightenment as a result of their inspired faith and diligence. Hence, virtuous men and women will immediately gain the assurance of non-rebirth in order to ascend to the upper stage of associating with the bodhisattvas, to lead all living beings in purifying the Buddhaland, and to attain unsurpassed enlightenment soon after. O virtuous men! This is known as the Sutra's 8th inconceivable power of merit. O virtuous men! The Sutra's 9th inconceivable power of merit is as such, whether the Buddha is present in the world or after the parinirvana of the Buddha, if virtuous men and women who experience exuberant joy after having obtained the sutra for the first time embrace, read, recite, copy, give offerings, broadly expound, and explain the meaning of the sutra in many ways for living beings, then they will achieve purity by eliminating their remaining sins and heavy impediments of past existences in an instant. Moreover, they will acquire great eloquence to gradually adorn themselves with the paramithas and samadhis, such as the samadhi of Shurangama. They will enter the great door of Dharni teachings and obtain the power of diligence to quickly ascend to the highest path. Skillful in emanating their bodies across the lands and the 10 directions, they will rescue and liberate living beings dwelling in all 25 realms from abject suffering. Such is the power of this sutra. O virtuous men! This is known as the Sutra's 9th inconceivable power of merit. O virtuous men! The 10th inconceivable power of merit is as such, whether the Buddha is present in the world or after the parinirvana of the Buddha, if virtuous men and women were to respond with great joy upon receiving this sutra, cherishing it as something extraordinarily rare, taking it upon themselves to instantly embrace, read, recite, copy, give offerings, and practice as it is taught, and widely encouraging lay and monastic practitioners to embrace, read, recite, copy, give offering, and practice as it is taught, all these done with a view to enable others to gain the fruits and the ways of enlightenment through the power of this sutra, then you should know that all these are due to the virtuous men and women having acquired the power of loving kindness and diligence to transform others. Hence, these virtuous men and women will immediately obtain immeasurable methods of dharni in their present bodily forms. Much as they are only ordinary people at the beginning stage of practice, they are naturally able to make innumerable asankhya of great vows, strongly capable of awakening great compassion to broadly save all living beings from afflictions and of accumulating an abundance of virtuous roots to benefit others by expounding the moisture of the Dharma to hydrate barren and arid places, hence bringing the medicine of peace and happiness to all living beings. Gradually, they will ascend and reside at the top stage of the Dharma just like clouds in the sky. Spreading the moisture of benevolence with all-encompassing compassion, they are able to lead all living beings toward the path of enlightenment. As such, these people will soon accomplish supreme perfect enlightenment. O virtuous men! This is known as the Sutra's 10th inconceivable power of merit. O virtuous men! Such unsurpassed immeasurable meanings of the Great Vehicle Sutra has great divine powers and unrivaled honor that enable common mortals to attain the fruit of the sage, departing from the realms of birth and death forever and dwelling in the stage of freedom. This sutra is called the Immeasurable Meanings because it is able to lead all common mortals in sprouting the immeasurable ways of the bodhisattva and enables their trees of merit to grow, spread, and flourish luxuriantly. Hence, this sutra is known as having the 10 inconceivable powers of merit. Summary Overview, Chapter 3, The 10 Merits, Section 2, Paragraphs 1 to 6. Bodhisattva Mahasattva Great Dignified Adornment and 80,000 bodhisattvas express their joy and gratitude to the Buddha for his teaching. They vow to widely propagate the sutra after the parinirvana of the Buddha. Thereafter, Bodhisattva Mahasattva Great Dignified Adornment and 80,000 bodhisattvas Mahasattvas spoke to the Buddha in unison, O Bhagavath. The sublimely magnificent and unsurpassed immeasurable meanings of the Great Vehicle Sutra as expounded by the Buddha is true and valid in principle and word, unrivaled in esteem and honor. It is guarded and protected by Buddhas of the three existences, and no devil minions are able to infiltrate it, nor can it be destroyed by any distorted views of birth and death. As such, this sutra has 10 inconceivable powers of merit to greatly benefit immeasurable living beings. It enables all bodhisattvas mahasattvas to receive the samadhi of immeasurable meanings, hundreds of thousands of dharni, the stages and assurances of bodhisattvas, or the testament of the four fruit of enlightenment for pratyabuddhas and arhats. O Bhagavath! Out of your mercy and compassion for us, may you be pleased to preach such a Dharma. In this way, we can receive the immense benefits of the Dharma that is the most exquisite and unprecedented. O Bhagavath! It is truly difficult for us to repay your compassion and loving kindness with gratitude. Meanwhile, 3,000 major thousandfold worlds trembled in 6 different ways. A myriad of flowers rained down from the sky, heavenly Utpal flowers, Padma flowers, Kumuda flowers, and Pundarika flowers. An innumerable variety of heavenly incense, heavenly robes, heavenly necklaces, and priceless heavenly jewels came spiraling down from the sky as offerings to the Buddha and the multitude of bodhisattvas and shravakas. Heavenly bowls and vessels from heavenly kitchens overflowing with hundreds of flavorful heavenly delicacies rained down. Simply looking at these delicacies and detecting the aroma was sufficient to bring satisfaction. Heavenly banners, heavenly streamers, heavenly canopies, and delightful heavenly musical instruments were in place to perform a heavenly musical orchestra in praise of the Buddha. Furthermore, the eastern Buddha worlds as numerous as the Ganges' sands trembled in 6 different ways, raining down heavenly flowers, heavenly incense, heavenly robes, heavenly necklaces, priceless heavenly jewels, and heavenly bowls and vessels from heavenly kitchens overflowing with hundreds of heavenly and flavorful delicacies. Simply looking at the delicacies and detecting the aroma was sufficient to bring satisfaction. Heavenly banners, heavenly streamers, heavenly canopies, and delightful heavenly musical instruments were in place to perform a heavenly musical orchestra in praise of the Buddha and the great assembly of bodhisattvas and shravakas. The same occurred in the southern, western, and northern regions, the 4 intermediate quarters, and the zenith and nadir. At that time, the Buddha spoke to Bodhisattva Mahasattva Great Dignified Adornment and 80,000 bodhisattvas Mahasattvas, you should cherish this sutra with hearts of reverence, practice as it is taught, widely transform all living beings, and diligently spread the Dharma broadly, always being earnest in protecting it day and night, while leading all living beings in gaining the benefits of the Dharma. Truly compassionate and merciful are all of you. You will protect the sutra via the divine power of the vow so as to prevent it from being impeded by doubt and confusion. In your future lifetimes, you will definitely propagate this sutra widely throughout Jambudvipa so as to enable all living beings to encounter, hear, read, recite, copy, and give offerings to it. As a result, you will also be able to quickly attain supreme, perfect enlightenment. Thereupon, Bodhisattva Mahasattva great dignified adornment and 80,000 Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas immediately rose from their seats to arrive at the place of the Buddha. Having made a full prostration and circled around the Buddha hundreds and thousands of times, they knelt on one knee at once and spoke to the Buddha in unison, O Bhagavath. We are delighted to receive the compassion of the Bhagavath who has expounded for us the sublimely magnificent and unsurpassed immeasurable meanings of the Great Vehicle Sutra. We reverently accept the decree of the Buddha to broadly propagate the sutra after the parinirvana of the Buddha. We will ensure that all living beings are able to embrace, read, recite, copy, and give offerings to it. O Bhagavath! May you have no worries at all. Through the power of our vows, we will cause all living beings to encounter, hear, read, recite, copy, give offerings, and obtain the authority and divine powers of this sutra. At that time, the Buddha praised them, excellent, excellent. O virtuous men! Now all of you are truly the children of the Buddha. With profound loving kindness and compassion, you are able to save those who are mired in suffering. You are the fields of blessing, the great teachers, the great shelters, and the great benefactors for all living beings because you constantly bestow the powers of the Dharma to broadly benefit all of them. At that moment, everyone in the great assembly was exhilarated. After bowing to the Buddha, they embraced the teaching and then departed.